Yeah, I feel like she might be might have been struggling to figure out where her place is in the group and how to do things differently, because they always feel like people just do things all the time, so she just hangs around instead of getting time to do her own things.
I
I'm
didn't.
like,
I didn't
well, then interrupt
realize.
them. Just do your things.
Yeah.
Don't just wait for things to happen.
Yeah. I have this same issue with players in other games where I'm not DMing, where they're like, well, I can't really get a word in, so and so, I just want to wait until the talking stops. Like, it's not going to stop. People are just going to keep trading back and forth until you interrupt. You need to just break in and say, this is what I want to do. Hey, hang on, I need to say something. You can't just wait for a breather. It's not going to happen with the people who are in this game. They're just going to keep talking.
The reason Leah doesn't interrupt that often is because she's not that talkative of a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get the
Uh,
sense of that.
but when she do speak, it's usually relevant in a way, in her head at least.
I was excited because Rowan dropped a very important line uh, after you guys finished fighting the dragon, and I'm hoping that he plays it up now that he's said it.
I'm not sure if I caught that.
He was referring to the dragonborn that you were burying, and he said, well, hopefully someday soon there won't be tragedies like this anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
I
still
guess
don't know
that
what
is
he
something to
said.
think
And
about.
that's a pretty heavy sentiment to drop right there, especially coming from his character.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it was anyone else, it wouldn't mean that much.
No.
I mean, he definitely do
Boom.
play his character like he is what he say it is.
Yeah.
It's just that because of it being a drow, we cannot just suddenly just agree on everything.
No. It's important to play that up. That there is this one of the constant and forever themes of D&D is that there is racism. There is a lot of racism. And that's just how the world functions.
He's really winning me over.
Because he gave you
shit.
the ability to see in the dark.
He gave me a bunch of flat. He gave me the ability to see in the dark.
He gives you things and that is not.
It's easy to buy you.
It's been pretty easy to buy me so far.
I mean, and also we had a funeral now. I mean, that could have given you a chance, Jacob.
What? Answer what?
Well, if there was something else you might have wanted to bury.
I forgot. Or squeakers. Yeah, I'll say I buried squeakers.
Darn.
Put it for a prince.
I was really hoping that you were going to just continue to forget about it.
So you keep on walking with a dead.
So you just keep walking around with this dead animal in your
brought him
pocket.
to death. I'm awful. I get another pet. More hurt.
Yeah, I just assume that the rest of the party has figured it out by now. And just don't say anything because they don't know how to react with it.
I just assumed that, Vendar was in such hardcore denial of the death of his spirit that he would just keep its corpse in his pocket for a while, every now and then patting the outside of the pocket and talking to it.
That's a real of mice and men problem.
It's dead, Lenny. Let it go.
I read the book first.
I read the book. I don't. What else is there?
Had to. It was a project. We had to read the All Mice and Men and Kite Runner, and then we watched this All Mice and Men later, but never the Kite Runner.
We read of Mice and Men, and we read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I eventually saw the film that they made about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest that had Jack Nicholson in it.
See, I read Of Mice and Men, Kill a Mockingbird, and then we read like Beowulf and Hamlet, and then they also made me read Twilight in high school.
Oh
They
my
made
god,
you
really?
read Twilight.
Yes, they made me read Twilight.
I'm
That's
so
awful.
sorry.
Sorry.
You then watched the movie at the end of the class.
Nice.
Oh.
There were several people in the class who simply refused and failed the class.
No, I wouldn't do
Really?
that.
Yeah,
I never
didn't-
refused to watch a film. Even if it
Well,
is.
they refused to read the book, too. It was like, no, it's against my principles.
To read Twilight.
Yeah. It was during the height of Twilight,
Yeah.
2009.
Yeah, I guess during that time, I would have tried to fake it. Right now, I would give it a shot. But I too was in kind of like that kind of place in 2009, like being a metalhead, kind of a goth at the same time for some reason.
For some reason.
I think actually I was closer to emo in 2009. I had serious issues with myself.
I'm pretty much the same
But-
I am now.
I never went
But
through
I
that.
considered myself and all my interests a metalhead. So when I look back at it, I look at myself as an emo. But I refuse to identify myself as it. But I was so interested in metal that everything that was kind of against that metal code was complete garbage and beneath me.
Go.
So Twilight was definitely one of those things.
My sister's read the Twilight books.
I expect
Jeez.
most females have.
Yeah, same with 50 Shades of Grey.
My other
It's
sister
Twilight fanfic.
started 50 Shades of Grey and she was like, no, I can't finish this.
That's funny.
Uh,
But
I-
I imagine that kind of
almost
porn isn't for
ended up
everybody.
Yeah, I almost ended up having to watch 50 Shades Darker because I was dating a girl at the time it released, and she was really into these things. But we broke up before the film actually released. So I got to do it.
Was that the reason? Like, I can't do it.
No, we had different thoughts on where to go. Like, I wanted to go a serious path, he wanted a fuck friend, so it didn't work out.
Sorry.
Just
we
don't.
had- Okay.
Don't touch it. Leave it there.
Oh.
I know what you're thinking. Just leave it alone.
Yes, please do. I have problems when it comes to relationships. I can't seem to keep one.
I've had, since we're on this topic now, I've had 2 relationships in my life. One lasted 4 years and one was 5.
Yeah, I don't talk to people, so
Yeah,
I
I
had-
don't actually date.
One last.
I've never actually dated anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I mean that technically I only had 2 because this last one, I mean, we dated, but we were never actually in a relationship.
And come on, Fendar, that's not true. You dated me.
True, Vendor did go on that one date. And he banged. Super fucking awkward.
Yikes!
God knows what they did with those tieflings.
Knock
So-
the one out with a shot to the back of the head.
I did.
Jacob
And then she had 10
had
with
sex with Tristan.
Yep, he did. He had roleplay sex with me.
I did.
Oh god,
Wait, did you
that
actually
makes it
roleplay
worse.
that?
That makes it so much worse.
I thought it just like said that okay, well things happen and it's the day after.
That's basically what we did.
Okay, good.
We did not actually roleplay.
I made him roleplay the date though, because I
Did make
needed
him
him to
roleplay.
you know, I wanted to know what he wanted to talk about with this NPC. The NPC was interested in his adventuring.
Yeah.
Well, that's all about the adventuring, and I rolled poorly, and then it ended awkward. I rolled.
Yeah.
Well, Tristan, if I ever end up actually using the slow potion of find a man to date or something, please don't roleplay anything more.
I make no promises. I refuse to make any promises about that.
I don't want to roleplay having sex with a man.
Oh, well, I'm not gonna describe graphic stuff like that. That's not necessary.
Good.
But
I
I
hope
will
we'll
find
never have
many
to
excuses
go,
to
because,
use
I
the
mean-
word moist.
You know, I mean, we probably are never going to reach that situation where we are older than 13, so luckily we never have to get to that situation.
Perhaps.
Well, Dungeon Dragon campaigns rarely last longer than a year in game time.
I've had them last. I had one that spanned several years, actually. In game, all the characters were several years older by the end of it. Exalted is especially good at that because it requires so many things to be just fast forwarded through there. It's like, you want to get this done, it takes this many months to do.
Yeah.
See, the one that my dad used to play in, and his friends are still playing it. They've been playing that's one campaign for like more than a decade, and I think at least several years have passed in game.
Yeah, I think they're cool that you've been able to build a story in a world that deep.
They play it ridiculously though. There's like 13 of them playing, and they all have like 6 to 8 characters. every time they go in, they make mulligans, so they get like 2 or 3 just throwaway characters that they roll, and they're level 1, and they go and they're fodder. Literally, they all have an old mulligan clan.
Mulligan clan.
And then they have like 3 or 4 characters that they really play, and most of the other ones are fodder.
I see. I think I've made one fodder character so far, but that was because I was getting really fed up with the players that were in that particular campaign.
Right.
So I just needed to
told that story.
vent at them.
That campaign got pretty ridiculous too. At one point, they were like fighting space Nazis.
As you
What?
do.
Yeah, so some of them have like guns, and they have like a big old Gatling gun that they carry around on a cart. And my dad's character had like 28 strength, and he dual wielded claymores.
Yeah.
He had the strength of a god.
Yeah, and 3rd edition had a 3.5 edition rather had a feat called Monkey Grip or something like that, which allowed you to one-hand 2-handed weapons, so you could dual wield 2-handed weapons if you had the feat.
I think they were
Yes, I
playing
know
an
that.
earlier. I think they're playing like 1st edition still.
Ew.
Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it is 3.5.
1st edition is kind of creepy
It
crazy.
was one of those things. While we were with our dad, we would go to the gaming session because it was one day a month, and they just played all day. So they would get there at like 10 in the morning, and they would play until like 3 a.m.
Mm.
I don't think anyone in my dad's generation ever played Dungeons and Dragons in Norway.
My parents were not gamers. I think my mom's sister did D&D for a little while, but that's
I
it.
mean, but seriously, I don't think the game existed in Norway at that time.
Hmm.
I'm not sure when it got imported, but I think it got imported during the 90s or something.
It
I don't think they had
existed
it
long
on one.
before that in the U.S. because it was a
Definitely.
70s phenomenon.
Yeah, I know, and my parents knew about it because they've seen it in American TV series. But it usually was extremely poorly portrayed.
In that movie with Tom Hanks.
Mazes and Monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never actually watched it. I've just heard of it. So
I've seen it. It's really bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. Spoonie did a review on it, and he goes through all the major points that they hit in the film, and it was a movie designed to incite the conservative parents of the time, saying, "Oh my goodness, look at this game that kids are playing. It's got like blood sacrifices, and evil demons and shit in it. Like, why would you let your kids do this?"
Now you look at today, every game is killing something or another.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the world became a little bit desensitized to it when Doom came out, because like,
Yeah, violence, especially in America, is really. We don't give a shit about violence in media anymore.
I mean, at some point, in some cases, like, look, the fact of the matter is that most people can differentiate. The character in Mazes and Monsters, who was supposed to represent every kid in the U.S., couldn't differentiate. And that's why it was an incredibly unfair story to tell, because they're saying this is what the problem that every kid who plays this game is going to go through. It's like, no, this guy had a mental condition that prevented him from differentiating between reality and fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the same with video games now. Anybody who actually gets violent because of video games is somebody who already has a mental disorder.
Yeah, I mean the danger from kids playing violent video games isn't that they're going to have problems differentiate the reality and fiction and stuff and do the same things they do in the video games. Is that they might be aggravated or scared because the game might affect them in a negative way. Dungeons & Dragons will not have that. I mean, you have to play like a seriously violent or scary video game for that to actually have an effect.
I'll tell you
like
what game can have an effect on you mentally. Vampire the Masquerade. I played that a lot, and that one is tough. It's not because of the monsters or anything like that. It's because Vampire the Masquerade is a seriously mental game where you are trying to think your way through everything that's going on, and everyone and all the players are out to get each other. Like, you have alliances that are not real. It's a very taxing game. Whenever I play Vampire, there's always a long period of time afterward that I don't play Vampire.
I mean, I got bigger problems with my mental health from Donkey Kong Country than anything else when I was little. It's not because of what's in the game. It's because it's so fucking difficult that I got angry by it. It gave me anger.
I mean,
because
I would yell at video games all the time.
I still yell at
I
video
still
games.
do, honestly. I got it from my dad. My dad yells at video games all the time too.
Yeah.
Don't ever watch
I think
my
that
stream.
is the
It's just me
biggest problem
bitching
with
at
video
games.
games. Yeah, that's the biggest problem with video games in young age is that they get angry and that might scare others. That is the worst issue for normal people.
Yeah.
And there's many things that can have that effect. I mean, and they're usually angry only then when they lose, not after it.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal as people say it is.
Yeah, no. And that's always been the issue, is that people blow it out of proportion.
Yeah. There's been many studies on it. Many of them done wrong or falsified, but there's also good studies. I tried looking into it because I was writing about this a year ago, and I found some studies talking about how video game affected people, and they said nearly exactly as I just said now, that video games might cause someone to be angry right then, but won't cause any permanent harm.
Alright.
Yeah, I tried to play Battlefront with my little sister not long ago, and she was not ready for it. I was just messing around, because, she's 10, and she could hardly control the character. But every time I killed her, she got really upset.
Yeah.
Just like, no, and try to slap the controller in my hand and stuff.
Yeah, no. The thing is, they, as a kid, you are a way bigger slave to your emotions. It's harder to understand what to do and what not to do when you get angry.
Yes. As a
Or
child,
scared.
yes.
You're also easily scared, which is why horror films and games should, I mean, they should be rated higher than action films and games, in my opinion, because the horror part is what's causing more trouble. Especially video games all the fucking hell, man.
Yeah. But the thing that scared me most when I was a kid, I watched Jurassic Park 3 when it came out, and I had nightmares. I had several nightmares about T-Rexes like breaking through the window of my room, eating me while I slept and shit.
Yeah, my half brother played
Horror genre
Five Nights at
films are my
Freddy's.
comedies.
My half brother played
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's when he was 9 years old at that friend's house. It took forever for him to tell us that. He was just
He did what?
super afraid of anything doll-like or animatronic for a really long time. And he
Dolls
had a
are
lot
creepy
of
in
nightmares.
general. You don't have to have played a game for that. Dolls are fucking creepy.
And we
Mannequins.
started to ask him,
Especially if you get like the porcelain dolls. God, those are the
we like started to ask him if he saw something or played something at friends' houses, and he eventually broke and told me and my brother that yeah, he played this animatronics game, and he's like, "Five Nights at Freddy's." It's like, yeah, you're not ready for that, man.
My colleague's 4-year-old plays Five Nights at Freddy's. 4.
Yeah, I mean, but the
He
thing
loves it.
yeah,
yeah.
the
It
thing is,
depends on
my
the
half
kid.
brother is really easily scared. Like really easily scared. There's many films that I watched as a 4-year-old that he as a 9 just can't handle. He freaks out by nothing, and he played a jump scare game. I mean, any jump scare game could give him nightmares from him. He just shouldn't play that kind of games because he's so easily frightened.
Yeah.
He also cries easily by films, but I mean, there's nothing negative about that.
I cry at sad films.
He cried his heart out by Toy Story 3.
It's sad.
Yeah, but the thing is, we binged all the 3 films in a row. This was the first time me and my older brother, he's not older than me, but he's older than my half brother. It was the first time we saw the third, but we have seen the 2 others. We've been raised by them.
Yeah.
But this kid, my half brother, when he saw it, he had never seen the 2 first either because he was too young. So this was the first time he saw all 3 in one go, and he still cried that much for the third.
I don't know. I mean, there are shows and movies that I can have watched 100 times over in the past, and I'll still cry at certain parts. You know.
I guess just my point is that Toy Story 3 is more sad for those who have been raised with the characters than those who just got introduced to them. So
I
that's
don't know.
what
I mean,
I find that sad. You don't really know these characters. You didn't know they existed before now.
empathy. I don't know, man. Empathy is
I mean,
empathy.
And he did
Probably.
watch the other 2 movies before, right? He just said they watched all 3 of them in a row.
Yeah.
Watching
but-
them once is enough to bond with them.
I guess.
I get it. It's not
That's just
the same as someone who grew up with it, but it's still. You watch the movies and you bond with the characters. When bad things happen to them, it's sad.
It does have a happy end.
I mean, you say, you grew up with these and he watched them all in one go, but he still witnessed as much of the character as you did because he saw all
Yeah.
the films.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter that it happened over a shorter period of time. It was the same
So I
amount
guess-
of exposure.
Yeah, I guess it might just affect what part you find the saddest. Like when you just saw it, the sad things that happens to them is what you might find the saddest part. Well, me, the saddest part was the actual ending, the actual goodbye to Andy and that stuff.
Well, you have
That's
the added
favorite part.
nostalgia.
Just the added nostalgia made me think that this isn't just a goodbye for the characters. This is a goodbye to the series. To me, it felt like an era is gone. I'm giving away a part of my childhood.
Aren't they making a Toy Story 4?
Yeah, but that wasn't. I didn't know that then. They said it was going to be the final unless they get a really good idea, and apparently they got a really good idea or an extremely good offer.
I mean,
As long as they can
Great
keep
idea.
making money
Let's make
from
more
it,
money.
we're gonna keep making money for it.
Rocco, you've seen Full Metal Alchemist, right? You're an anime watcher.
Actually, I haven't. I've seen clips from it.
First one or Brotherhood?
I mean, either, but honestly, the impact of the part that I'm thinking of was much stronger in the
Oh.
original series. It was much stronger in the first one. They just sped through it too much in the second one, so it didn't have the same impact.
Oh.
So when the first
You
one
cannot what they're
caught
talking
up
about.
to the
I think
anime
that's-
and
No,
rather
of
than-
course don't talk about it, because it's really a great series that should be watched and not spoiled.
But the first one
You are
caught up to
talking
the
about, I think
anime
you're
and
talking
instead of just
It caught up to the manga because the manga only had
Right,
3
it caught up to the
volumes out, and so then they split, and the author said, "This is what I'm going to do with the story, so you do something different." And that's
then
how
the
it
second
went.
one was later.
The second one, Brotherhood, was later
Like they-
and follows the manga much better, and so tells, in my opinion, a much better story. But you can't discount the 2003 version because it does tell it tells its own story, and the characters are honestly, especially some of the characters at the beginning were just better developed and described in the original than Brotherhood. Like, that was like the thing I hated most about Brotherhood, and I thought that Brotherhood overall was great, but the thing I hated about it was that the beginning, the first 1/3 of the show basically just assumed you had seen the other series and didn't need to hear that part of the story again since it was the same. It's like, you can't assume that. Some people never saw the first one and are only seeing Brotherhood.
Yeah, I guess that's overcompensating for like the Peter Parker effect, where nobody wants to see Uncle Ben die again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, that's something that legitimately, come on. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you have to say any story has to stand on its own and can't rely on anything that came before it. But this was just like,
Yeah, Spider-Man's pretty established enough that even if you've never really followed the movies or the comics, you probably know that Uncle Ben dies and the great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, and he gets beaten by a radioactive spider.
Yep.
But what annoys me in the new MCU though is that I expected them to have a little explanation, like them
haven't
talking
seen
about it
Spider-Man.
in a way or seeing it in an intro or something.
But
Now I heard what you said, so now I'm trying to see how I can continue that sentence without spoiling.
who hasn't seen
I haven't seen Homecoming yet. I haven't watched the cinema in a while.
I haven't seen
I really like that one.
Yeah, me too.
I've heard good things about it.
I've liked all
I heard
the
some mixed critics. I think those who didn't like it, they were expecting a new epic Hollywood film.
Yeah,
This
it
is not
fills
that.
a different genre, but all the solo films kind of fill a different genre.
But all the other Spider-Man film has been epic Hollywood films.
They did, yeah, they changed it up. That's probably a
This-
good thing
this is
since
like
all the
cool.
epic Hollywood films that they've made have been doing too good.
Yeah, and I like it that I did because then it's closer to what Spider-Man is supposed to be.
Yeah, I think Tom Holland makes
It's
a great.
not supposed to be this epic super tale. It's supposed to be more down to the ground and dealing with lesser villains in New York.
Because he's trying to become a superhero in a world where there are already a bunch of established superheroes.
Yes. So this was way more true to Spider-Man as a character, and I think that was great.
And
So the people I see that don't like Homecoming, they all have the same reason because they think it wasn't. They start to compare it with Guardians of the Galaxy and said it didn't have that kind of fighting scenes and effects, and well, it wasn't supposed to.
it's telling a different story.
Yeah, then you saw the wrong film. watch the Guardians of the Galaxy then. This is not supposed to be Guardians of the Galaxy in any way.
I like that they're all different. It makes it when I go and binge watch the whole entire MCU again, that it's all different, not just this like the same movie over and over.
Yeah, I agree. And they all kind of borrow things from different genres.
I'm
More
so
like-
looking forward to Ragnarok. I'm really excited for Ragnarok.
Yeah, me too. The trailer looks amazing. So I'm
It
so
looks
looking forward.
awesome. I can't wait.
It's
I
real.
haven't
I
watched too
would
many of
never
the trailers
expect to
'cause I don't
actually
want
look
to
this
kind of-
forward to a 4 film, but I really do.
You know, so I haven't watched many of the trailers because I kind of want to go in without preconceptions.
Yeah,
No, I
I feel
kinda
like
want
I
to be a bit
just can't
surprised.
ignore it when I'm studying films. I'm gonna get the spoilers out of the way.
I will say that the trailers for the new Thor movie makes it look way better than either of the other Thor movies.
Yeah, easily. It might be one of those cases where the trailer is better than the film, though. But
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like how they're doing it, though, where now they're having mashup films where other characters will appear in different films. Because it
Yeah.
makes sense. They all exist in the same world. Why wouldn't they? And they're all part of the same team and stuff. Why wouldn't they interact sometimes?
yeah, I mean, they got a lot
Outside
of
of a
shit
big
after
event.
Avengers. Like in Iron Man 3, why weren't any of the other heroes there? That situation.
That is the thing.
like,
Where was
it's
Captain
impossible.
America when the president was being?
Yeah, exactly. They got a lot
Or
of shit for
Shield.
that. So I think they learned a lesson. Like, you know what? We're going to have to throw some other heroes in there.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
they kind of do
done an
this.
excellent job. I really like Civil War.
Yeah, they kind of do this double thing now when there seem to be mainly 2 heroes for every film. I believe that we're going to see Captain America and Black Panther. I don't know for sure, but I believe.
I like
Because
that we're
that's
getting
where
more
it
Hulk
was.
too. Because there hasn't been
Oh.
enough since they don't actually like own full rights to him.
I mean, I think I've heard that Hulk is going to be really important in.
Yeah, he playing a big role in Ragnarok.
Yeah, as well as.
He's going to be like the Iron
next
Man.
to Avengers.
Captain America's.
They said that Ragnarok, Avengers 3 and Avengers 4 are all going to together kind of feel like a Hulk film. Because he gets so much screen time in all three of them.
It looks like they're kind of putting in a bit of that World War Hulk thing into it.
Yeah, the Planet Hulk is like a whole
Planet
story
Hulk.
in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It seemed like they kind of had an idea for a Planet Hulk film that they ended up just splitting and put in these other films instead.
That's actually where most of the trailer for the Ragnarok is showing Planet Hulk stuff.
Yeah, man. Also some
Well,
Ragnarok
the
stuff.
final
as well.
Infinity Stone will finally show up. Probably, at any rate.
Are we only missing one?
We're only missing one.
Oh yeah, right.
Soul Stone is the only one that hasn't shown up yet.
Right, you're right. Because I was in
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I have Agamotto.
Yeah. I just forgot that was number 5? 4?
Yeah.
Is there 6?
Number
films?
5 or 6.
They're called gems in the comics.
Yeah, Infinity Gems.
I actually like stones better. It feels more comfortable to say.
Infinity Cornice. I guess it's only
I'm
funny
looking
if you
forward
know
to
those
Infinity
Spanish.
War. Looks good.
I'm excited. I'm excited about all of them.
Yeah.
I like that they're making 3 movies a year now. I'd be happy if they made 4.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
they're
don't
not
know.
spreading them out that great in the coming years. They're like 3 in the first half of the year and then not one until the next May.
Yeah, I suppose.
But 2019,
Ragnarok comes in October though. Or November,
When-
I suppose. For
yeah, because in 2019 there's Black Panther in February and then Infinity War in May and then Ant-Man and the Wasp in July and then there isn't another one until like the next February.
Yeah,
Or the next May even.
that's gonna be an annoying autumn.
Yeah, I have to wait all fucking fall and winter and stuff with no Marvel.
Then again, they might be holding a film secret, but I think it would have been spoiled by now. It would have been
Yeah.
leaked. Because they say that they're trying not to say much about the films that happen after Infinity War.
Yeah, like they can't
Uh,
even give the title for Avengers 4 yet because it's a spoiler for Infinity War.
Yeah, exactly. And I might think it might, if the speculations I see is right, it might even be a spoiler for Captain Marvel. Because
I
the
heard
theory
Captain Marvel's
Apparently
is
going to be
Captain
set
Marvel
in
is
like the
gonna-
90s or something.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a two-eyed Nick Fury.
Yeah, because the theory is that because we know that the Kree is not the Kree, the Skrull. Skrull is going to be in Captain Marvel.
Are they? I thought they were owned by Fox.
Apparently not. I think they might have gone to a deal or something. It was revealed in Comic-Con that the Skrull is going
It
to
might
be.
have reverted because I mean they haven't shown up in a Fox movie for a while.
So this theory is that Avengers 4 is going to be Secret Invasion. And if that theory is true, they might wait with the title until Captain Marvel even. But, you know, it's just a huge speculation from a lot of nerds on YouTube. Might be wrong.
Yeah,
It
I also
sounds
really
reasonable.
like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm annoyed because the season 5 isn't going to air until spring because they're airing Inhumans in its time slot first, and it's not. And so season 5 isn't going to air until after Inhumans is aired. And I've heard nothing but awful things about the Inhumans. So.
Yeah, I mean, the Inhumans were kind of the most annoying part of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. So bringing in the Inhumans TV series, I kind of feel like it's going to be just as boring.
But they're enhanced.
Yeah, it's just that they didn't handle the stories well.
Yeah, I really like Daisy.
This is fine, but the entire storyline involving the Inhumans and Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. was kind of boring. I almost stopped watching the series because of it. During season 3, I was like, oh no, enough of this. This is interesting.
I would say season 4 was better than season 3.
Definitely. Season 4 had a
I-
good start with Ghost Hunter there.
Yeah, I like the second half of season 4 even better than the first half.
I liked
Ghost
Fitzsimmons.
Hunter, Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
I think Ghost Rider was really cool to see in the Marvel universe.
Both of them.
That's very cool.
The Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider?
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
It wasn't Johnny Blaze, it was Robbie Reyes.
Oh, Johnny Blaze was in it though.
Sort of, yeah. It was implied that it was him, but I mean, it could be.
Johnny Blaze had the good Samaritan in it.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if that actually there was Nick Cage.
I don't
the
think
Ghost
so.
Rider films are part of the MCU.
Please don't.
Dude.
Those films were so bad. I mean, I actually dislike the Ghost Riders more than I do the first Fantastic Four film. Especially the second one. Second Ghost Rider was so horrible.
Yeah,
One
I
and a
thought
half
the first
hour
one was
Nicolas Cage
okay.
screaming at the camera.
the second one was awful.
Oh yeah. I think the first one was bad too, but not as bad.
I think it was very similar to the Fantastic Four. The first one was, not great, but it wasn't awful. And the second one was pretty fucking awful.
Yeah, that Silver Surfer. Oh my. Not as bad as the Ghost Rider 2, but still terrible.
So I heard the Fantastic Four remake was even worse than Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I'm not even going to watch that one.
Yeah, I didn't watch it because my brother watched it and he said it was like the most boring film he'd ever watched. Finally, the
And now
first.
Fox-
But
the first
Rise
half
of the
film
Silver
was similar.
Surfer apparently had Galactus in it.
Yeah, but they
They
didn't
had a
do
big
Galactus.
cloud they called Galactus.
Yep.
Yeah.
And apparently that could be enough to make it so that other, not Fox studios
Yeah,
can't have Galactus.
It was enough that the rights aren't going to revert.
The thing is,
And
Fox
they
doesn't
probably
actually
won't.
own Fantastic Four either. They
Well, they have the movie rights.
no, I can't remember the studio that actually does. It was a Silverline, was it? It might be.
Is it one of Fox's subsidiaries?
Yeah, the thing is, Fox is in a deal with the studio that actually owns the rights. Like they get it through Fox, kind of like a shareholding thing. It's complicated. But that is why the films will have to be made within a certain time span. That's the fault of Marvel. While the X-Men deal is an actual ownage, they don't have to make X-Men films. They will always own the rights until they sell them. The
So
Fantastic
not
Four
all
is a
the
different.
characters they had, not all the characters they've used in X-Men films are that way. Like Apocalypse, if they hadn't used Apocalypse, they would have reverted to Marvel.
Yeah.
All they have to do is
I
name
think so.
drop, and they get to keep him.
Yeah, that's all they have to do.
It's really annoying.
Yeah, I know that.
Which means none of those characters ever, as long as Fox is making money off them.
They're
They're
not
not
letting you
gonna-
go.
Yeah, I know. For certain characters, it's like that. For the series X-Men, Fox owns all rights to that. Well, not all rights. They don't own. They didn't own TV rights, but they got in a deal with Disney to get it. I suppose in trade for the Skrull and the Celestials. They don't own comic rights, obviously, because Marvel owns all the comic rights.
Yeah, I doubt Marvel will ever sell comic rights to the characters.
That'd be very
In fact,
strange
they've been
thing to
desperately
do.
trying to get back all the movie rights they've sold since AMC started doing so well.
Because I found out that all the Celestials belong to Fox. But Disney apparently managed to make a deal to get the Celestials so they could use them in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really good. Those are a pretty big part of the cosmic side, aren't they?
Yeah. Because apparently the Celestials followed along with Galactus. When they made the film with Galactus, they also got the rights for any other sort of Celestial. Even how stupid that sounds.
Yeah, it's wonky.
So I thought because there's coming an X-Men TV series, and I know that Disney didn't own the rights to that. No, sorry, Fox didn't own the rights to that. But so they obviously traded that for the Celestials, and I thought that was it. But they must have traded the Skrull with it as well.
It's really weird how a lot of that shit works out.
Yeah.
You read how they got Ego for Guardians 2.
Yeah, Ego is a Celestial also. I know like this.
Yeah, but they got him specifically because it said when they were making Deadpool, they had Negasonic Teenage Warhead, but in the comics she has very different powers. So in order for them to use the character and give her different powers, they had to make a deal with Marvel. And the deal was they get to change her powers, and Marvel gets Ego.
Okay, so that's interesting. I thought that was all the Celestials that got over.
All the business and bureaucracy.
In the comic book, Ego's name was Jason. It's J''S''O''N.
The comics, he's also not Star-Lord's father.
No, the one who is Star-Lord's father is called Jason.
Yeah, but Ego is the living planet,
Yes.
not Jason. They
just changed
removed
his
Jason.
They just, yeah, exactly. They just completely changed who his father was.
They replaced Jason with Ego.
For better or worse, I guess. I mean,
And I think it's better because I don't like the Jason character. And
I
that
like Kurt
storyline.
Russell.
That too, though.
Kurt Russell's funny.
He did a really good job.
Yeah, it was a really good movie.
I mean,